Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Liz. And I'm losing my goddamn head. And I'm also joined by my co-host, Mark.
With contacts this time.
Yeah, he can see now. Did you not have your contacts on last night?
No. Liz never looks me in the eye.
I'm always looking at me.
Wow.
I've got my Sasha Banks dry glitter on. I figured I would save this for a big four. I haven't done this in a while. I used to do this like a lot. I feel like I did this maybe like
every podcast.
Every other podcast, more or less.
Yeah.
And then I just got tired. All right. So I said I was all good before I opened up the chat. So I'm going to do that now. And then we are going to bop into this.
So we made predictions. If you weren't here for the TakeOver show or the Friday Night SmackDown show, we made predictions for every match this evening, as well as one other little stipulation, I guess, which was whether, I think I only made this prediction, but it was whether Retribution, or which match Retribution would show up for, and they never showed up at all today. So I will drink for that. I said they'd show up during Sonya and Mandy, and they did not.
And I made a prediction on my prediction sheet that most of my predictions will be wrong. And I don't have to drink because I was right.
Also, for those wondering what I am drinking, yesterday I did shots. I am not making that mistake this time. Instead, I am going with a lot of tequila. About half of this glass is tequila and peach punch. So I'm just taking big swigs of it each time I have to drink.
I'm doing the same thing I did last night. It's a lot of gin. And I have a baby cocktail, which is the same thing, but made by Mark, so there's less gin.
I've got a baby cocktail too, and it's water.
Oh, see. This is my water.
Oh wow, look at us. And peach punch is fire. Thank you, Splucha. It is amazing with tequila.
So I was in the middle of some work stuff. I didn't get a chance to find out how many we both got right and wrong, so let's save that for the end.
Okay.
Don't start counting now.
Okay. I know how many I got wrong, and I could just do some subtraction, but we also
I'm gonna find out how many I got wrong.
We heard a prediction that there would be a Matt Riddle King Corbin fight tonight, but there was none, so we scratched that prediction off of our list.
We can save that prediction though for next SmackDown. See if it happens there.
If you want, we can. I don't know. We also have Payback too.
I love betting. Yeah, but I feel like one drink, like one shot, is not going to kill us on Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen to us on Friday as far as like our personal lives, but
Roman will be there.
Might be okay with one shot. I can't hold back anymore. I'm not gonna. I assume that everyone who's in here probably has seen what happened tonight. Roman Reigns is back.
The big dog.
I know that a lot of people fucking hate him. I get it. I don't though. I love him. I love him so much. I am the ideal Roman Reigns fan because he just does shit, and I'm like, that was cringy, but I love you.
His Superman punch is so bad. It's so bad.
I hate it. But also the spear is amazing.
Yeah, his spear is wonderful.
Imagine if he like ended up actually fighting Goldberg and they just speared each other at the same damn time.
The world implodes. WWE itself crumbles. Vince has a heart attack. All at the same time because of the two spears colliding.
Oh my god. Also, I just want everyone to know that I am wearing my earrings. I get all of my hair caught in them constantly. So when you see me make a horrified face, that is because my hair is now stuck in my earrings. It will happen. I am sure of it. It's already happened twice.
I
could pull my hair back. But I didn't like how it looked. So I'm vibing with it. Let's get into it. So for our first one, we had Apollo versus MVP during the pre-game show.
We started with an interview, actually. I don't think you were paying attention for this part. There was a little...
I didn't pay attention to any promos.
There was an interview with Angel Andrade and Zelina before the first match even started. This was during the kickoff. It was basically, I think it wasn't Charlie, it might have been Kayla asking Zelina about the poisoning, and it was just more
it was Mackenzie, I think.
Kenzie?
Or Kenzie or Sarah or one of those girls that like we haven't really had to deal with yet, but has been there a couple times.
Oh,
He's been on Raw a lot.
only one I know is Charlie. That's it.
And Charlie was at the desk with
Renee.
He was also there.
And it's Renee's last night. We should also mention that.
I saw her and I was like, Renee! And then she's like, yeah, I'm like, my final hurrah. And I was like, but go on about the interview.
Yeah, there was nothing special. It was just more talk about the poison and oh, Angel also like handed a rose to the interviewer, to Mackenzie, and I think Zelina grabbed it out of his hand and like threw it or something.
She called, I believe, Mackenzie or Sarah. Again, they look the same to me. Sometimes I don't have my glasses on because I'm doing my makeup, so from a distance, it could be either. But she called her a knockoff Charlie, and I was like, wow, so you hold Charlie higher than her, at least. I like that. It was like, if Angel's gonna flirt with anybody, it may as well be Charlie, because I at least have bad nicknames for her.
So,
shall we jump in?
the first fight.
Audio is like a little delayed, so if I don't respond immediately, that's why.
That's okay. Yours is too.
Oh, I hope it isn't for everyone else. Probably is.
Well, they won't know. Just between the delay.
It'll just be awkward pauses.
Yeah, basically.
So we start off with MVP versus Apollo. We both chose Apollo. Thank God.
Yes.
Didn't make that stupid choice. I knew I couldn't choose MVP. For the life of me, whether I thought he was going to win or not. I swallowed my pride for a different match.
Yes, you did.
I'm happy about it. I'm happy to take that drink. Okay? It brings me nothing but joy.
Okay.
So we start off, MVP grabs Apollo's leg and sends him face first into the mat. Apollo isn't too stunned by that. He sunset flips MVP. MVP then slides out of the ring, kind of just like ponders for a little bit, just kind of thinks to himself. Apollo is then going after MVP in the corner, but as the referee tries to break them up, MVP turns around and slugs Apollo in the face. Then we got Apollo, he kind of like ran to the ropes. MVP's going after him. He does the thing where like he runs to the ropes, but like he jumps up, kicks his legs out, sending MVP in before him, and then there's a couple of handsprings. It was impressive, but it 100% was like one of those things where I was like, you don't need to do that. Just showing off. You then get drop kick from Apollo into an arm drag, gets the arm sub on MVP. MVP sends Apollo out of the ring, and Apollo goes what looked like to me, perfect mark. What looked like to me looked like cheekbone first into the steel stairs. It did not look good. It looked a little screwed up. It kind of looked like he was supposed to land on the apron. But it looked like MVP threw him a little too hard. I don't know what you thought.
Having trouble remembering that moment.
It was when he was thrown out of the ring and he smacked right here. It looked like into the steel steps, and we were both sitting there like,
yes. It
like, is he dead?
When they did the replay of it, it didn't seem as bad. It seemed like he kind of braced at least one of his arms to take the blow instead of his face, and he could like push off of his arm. But I could still imagine it would hurt.
Yeah. There were a couple good bumps today, actually. Well, nasty falls. MVP is then up on the ropes with Apollo. He sends Apollo crotch first into the top buckle. Not the first time we'll see that tonight from a match. MVP sets up for the superplex, and this also looked a little botched. Set up for the superplex, but it looked like he didn't kind of get the jump right. It looked like he kind of just fell backwards off the ropes.
Oh yeah, and where like he landed on his head.
He landed on his damn cranium.
Yeah.
This looked a little more like an actual flub because just the way it looked like he slipped off with Apollo's weight. So he did not land as he had planned to. Apollo then sent MVP out of the ring and dived out onto him. Dove out onto him?
Mm-hmm.
Dived out onto him. Both men are just laying on the ground. At this point, our food came, so we had dinner. Apollo is basically just punching and shoving MVP in the corner. It's a nasty little spinebuster to pee in the canvas, and that sounded funny. And then does his typical standing moonsault. He went for the toss powerbomb. MVP powered out. Powered out of the powerbomb. Sorry. Finally manages it. MVP is like dead. Apollo wins, keeps his title. Hurt Business come out and try to attack him, but Apollo's just too damn quick. Those shirts. It was the shirt on Bobby that slowed him down. MVP forced his men to wear matching shirts, and now Bobby can't fight like a normal boy. Anyways, it was a good...
The weight was too much for him.
He can lift whatever he wants, but god damn it, if you put a shirt on him, he's like a cat. Just hunkers down. Don't already drink your drink. I haven't gotten one wrong yet.
No, I'm taking small sips right now. The big sips come with wrong predictions.
Cocktail to the face.
Yeah, that's it. Glass 2.
But I think overall, although I do kind of hate that Apollo keeps having to do these pre-show matches, they kind of just feel like a honorary mention in terms of like pay-per-view. Yeah, this was a pretty good match.
Especially since they've all been title matches. I guess I gotta give something to the free audience. But it feels like they're just doing it a disservice.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought that maybe the tag team title would be in the pre-game thing or the pre-show. Only because Street Profits and Andrade and Angel's like mentions haven't been getting as much screen time as Apollo's with the Hurt Business.
Mm-hmm.
So it just felt like it would make more sense that like this is probably the slightly more important one to show. I don't know. Then we move. Oh, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge something Splucha said in the chat a little while ago. He said that the virtual crowd was more lively tonight, and apparently that they've been lifeless because apparently there are agreements they have to sign, and basically, like as he put it, sign their lives away to 1,000 rules, and if they do anything wrong, WWE will hunt them down. And he mentioned there was a Pikachu on cam tonight. There was also I saw a Squirtle at some point. There was
Baby Yoda too.
There was also a Fire Velveteen Dream sign that was posted on Twitter, and Rhea Ripley liked it.
Dude, they hate him so much, and I love that. It brings me pure joy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy the virtual crowd a lot more tonight. It also kind of felt like there were more of them than there were at SmackDown.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm crazy. But it just felt like a live audience tonight, and it wasn't just like the same pumped in crowd noises where it was like, oh, the heel comes out, boo, and stuff like that.
We also got we got drone shots this time, which definitely showed off the size of the stadium.
And now is as good a time as any, going into the match that we're about to go into, to say the drone wasn't entirely necessary as much as they goddamn used it tonight.
The drone was bad.
There were points where like there was action happening in the ring. Michael and like Corey are talking about it. God forbid I have to listen to Corey. If I'm listening to Corey, I may as well be seeing something happen in the ring. And the drone is like flying up, all the action's like down here, and then it's just Thunderdome. And I'm like,
Just have a crane. Use a crane. I don't get why they have a drone. A crane would be much more manageable. Like, yeah, you can get more with a drone, but a crane is like, it seems cheaper because you don't have to buy several of them, because I know they mentioned they have multiple drones. And a crane doesn't make nearly as much noise as a drone does.
God, how could Jesus?
Yep, there you
How
go.
could this happen?
Oh, matches and promos.
I didn't have time to make another and. I'm gonna have to soon because the tape on both of these is failing me. Hey, who's he? What's it? We then move on to Bayley and Asuka. I can't believe I forgot to put this up here. Thank God. What kind of host am I?
And what kind of predictor are you? Liz got this one wrong, folks. She predicted Asuka would beat Bayley.
I had a prayer. I had one prayer. I used it poorly.
To be fair, you were confused on your own prediction. I think you meant to pick Bayley.
Listen. Because this was actually the one where I kind of backtracked the other night when we were making the predictions. This was the one where I was like, maybe I choose this. And then I was like, maybe I choose this. And then I just kind of settled.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was kind of cutting my losses here. I wasn't. I also did think that Asuka coming out of the ring or out of the gate would like be stronger in the beginning. I thought that was just logic.
We've seen Asuka many times. She never comes out of the gate strong. She always gets her ass beat and then recovers.
True. So Asuka gets an arm sub on Bayley, and Asuka is dodging Bayley, but Bayley was also kind of dodging literally anything Asuka threw at her. She then got into a full body sub, a very weird one, mind you, on Bayley, and Bayley managed to get a leg up on the rope. A hip attack sent Bayley way out of the ring, and then Sasha. I do this in my notes, and now I'm doing it in my speaking. And off the steps, Asuka gets a really sick DDT onto Bayley. There's a cover. Bayley gets up, finally starting to look a little better. Basically does the same DDT off the top buckle to Asuka. Then, after a cover and a kick out, suplex Asuka, headlock, drops an elbow. Somehow she's still alive. Asuka gets back up, gets on her feet, starts attacking Bayley's leg. And then a Bayley to belly just flattens her. The only thing she really had left in her arsenal at this point, I think, was the super kick. And that sent Bayley down for a minute. Asuka kind of got her momentum going, sent some forearms to Bayley, throws her out of the... throws her. What am I doing? And finishes with a running hip attack, which I really like that. I like to call it the butt bump a little more, but we'll call it a hip attack for now. I'll make that exchange so I can keep calling the running power slam a Puma attack. And there are forearms exchanged by the two on the apron outside of the ring. Asuka goes for another running hip attack, and this is about when we started seeing some. This was like when we saw the other bump that just. It wasn't necessarily a bump, but like the noise it made sounded worse than it probably was. She goes for the running hip attack. Bayley catches her, drives her knee first in the apron. I lied. This is not it. This is not the time. Anyways, Bayley has a submission hold on Asuka's leg. Asuka manages to get some double knees into Bayley's chin. She goes to the top rope. Bayley tries to fight her down. It's unsuccessful. When she finally does jump off, Bayley stops her and grabs the leg for another submission hold. Bayley then sunset flips her into the turnbuckle. And I actually didn't take a note on where this happened. We'll come back to it. I don't know how I didn't take notes of this. So Bayley gets up on the top rope. And maybe this was where it was. Basically, Bayley, I think, suplexed Asuka. The way Asuka hit her head, whatever the noise was, sounded horrible. It sounded like there was just no padding where she hit her head, basically, because it was outside the ring.
Wait, didn't that happen during the Asuka Sasha match? She really hit her head outside the ring during that match.
Maybe that's why I didn't have a note.
Oh, you just thought you were remembering from that match? I feel like that's the opposite of what you need right now.
Gotta get back on my A game. Anyways, ignore what I just said. Cut that out for the YouTube.
No.
Alright. Brother. Bayley gets up on the top rope. It doesn't pan out for her. Then we get an armbar on Bayley. And in the breakout from it, Bayley pushes Asuka away so hard that Asuka sends a foot to Sasha's face, who's been on the outside of the ring this whole time. Sasha then tries to interfere, and I don't really know what the vibe was with her interfering. She was like, Bayley was against the ropes. Sasha was right behind her. Bayley moves out of the way. Asuka, who was trying to hip attack Bayley, hip attacks Sasha in the damn face, sending her to the ground, but this gives Bayley the opportunity to roll Asuka up and pin her to retain her title.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird. I didn't know what was happening there, but the pot's been stirred, boys. The pot's been stirred.
You know, and we'll get into this more when the Raw title match comes, but I don't. How did tonight add to their story, kind of? Like, there doesn't seem to be any more tension or anything. It just seems like Sasha now doesn't have a belt.
That's the thing, though, is that she tried to help Bayley during her match. Bayley didn't try to help Sasha at all.
Yes, she did. She tried at one point, but Asuka spinning backfisted her.
Oh. Alright, well, I don't know. I mean, I think the thing is now is that going into all of this, like, months ago, when Charlotte was still around, Charlotte said, like, Sasha, you're better than this. Like, you're better than having to team up with somebody to win. Are you really gonna, like, stand in Bayley's shadow? Bayley now has a title. Sasha doesn't. I mean, she's got the tag title, but she doesn't have her own. And it's like, thanks. Look what shadow you're standing in still. I'm really hoping that we see this all fall the fuck apart.
At Payback, Sasha challenges Drew for the WWE Championship. Sasha wins.
So sad. I can just imagine Drew, like, throwing her like a rag doll. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's more tense. Also, the way that, like, Sasha was like, well, if Bayley can beat Asuka, I definitely can. And Bayley was just like, yeah, all right. Jesus. I just want to retweet the tweet. So everyone knows we're live. In case you didn't know, we're live right now. Performance Center. 4th floor break room. Then we had Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel. We both voted for the Street Profits. We don't have to drink. I made one good vote tonight. So Montez gets a waistlock on Andrade, and Andrade sends him into the ropes and slapping him a little bit. Montez does a forearm tackle to Andrade. Andrade says, okay, and kicks him in the damn face. There's a cat under me. Yeah. We then saw a really awesome Hurricane Rana from Montez to Andrade, which was like, it was such full contact and so smooth and powerful. I feel like we've been missing stuff like that recently. Because we've seen so many weird clubs with that and like head scissors. Like, I don't know. I just feel like this it was a sight for sore eyes. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
Angel's then thrown down by both of the Street Profits men. Montez goes for the cannonball out of the ring onto Andrade and Angel. But he's caught and he's powerbombed. Sad news for Montez. He gets back in. He's getting stomped by Andrade. Angel gets you do not bite me. I felt that. Started licking my leg. Angel gets Montez in the face. Garza covers and Montez kicks out. It's immediately an arm sub by Angel Garza. Kevin Owens, who has been commentating on the whole match and has some very exciting news, yells, "Do better, Zelina." He's my favorite guy on commentary.
Well, he
does not get better.
He specifically said, there's been a lot of tension between Angel and Andrade, and that's supposed to be Zelina's job to fix. Do better, Zelina.
Such an ass. I love him so much.
Do we want to mention who's going to be... Speaking of Kevin Owens, do we want to mention who's coming on to the Kevin Owens show? Or is that later on?
Let's wait just for the end of this.
Okay.
Just so I can yell about it and not lose my place in my notes. I'm so excited. So Angel gets Montez up on the ropes. Montez is looking tired as hell. Garza drop kicks his legs and then takes his pants off. We were pretty far into this match before he took his pants off, which was kind of impressive. Andrade then tags in, does what I guess can only be described as a hanging armbar from to Montez.
Yeah.
He's done it twice now, I think. It's weird.
Cool. It's
looks
not legal.
Like you gotta be strong. Yeah. I think, as Tom Phillips said, it's not legal, but it gets the job done.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you're right. So then Andrade lifts Tez, but he powers out, drop kicks Andrade. And we get a spinning, or Dawkins is finally in. Sorry. And Dawkins has not been in once at this point. And he is off the ropes mentally. He just sends any version of forearms into Andrade. And then Andrade just back with the elbow to Dawkins' head, knocks the headband off. That just kind of makes Dawkins mad. It knocks him down for a minute, but then he gets back up and spears Andrade. And that's an Easter egg. The end of SummerSlam.
That's foreshadowing, baby.
And that man grew up to be Roman Reigns. Montez then goes in for a frog splash. He gets covered by Garza. He breaks the cover. Or Dawkins breaks the cover. Montez. And then Montez accidentally knocks Zelina off the ring. And by accidentally, I mean not accidentally, but like accidentally. We get to see a very loving and tender moment between Andrade and Zelina where he was just like checking on her. And then it looked like he palmed her tit.
You know, gotta check everything. Check for
I'm
injuries.
sure maybe, I mean, they were like kind of like going, it was like head-on angle of Zelina laying on the ground. Maybe I was misseeing things. But for a second, I was like, we both have significant others. But also it's cute as hell. Keep doing it.
Just pals being pals, you know?
Sometimes a pal's just gotta touch your tit.
Sometimes a pal's just gotta check for breast cancer.
Just feel them tutors. Just to say you can't do it in the middle of SummerSlam. In the Thunderdome.
Unless you're Velveteen Dream, and it's a 14-year-old girl.
Velveteen Dream does not get to touch tits. Or anyone, for that matter. I think he should just stop touching in general.
Yeah. Cut off his hands.
Triple H is never going to go for this.
Hammurabi's Code.
Eye for an eye.
Eye for an eye. Eye for an eye. What does it mean?
What does it mean?
I know what it means.
You know what it means. How did we get here? I love the theater. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. So he does that. And then Montez manages his frog splash successfully, covers, while Dawkins just forces Andrade to stay out of the goddamn ring. In the corner, he's like, no. So yeah. That was fun. That was a good time.
And we didn't predict wrong for it.
We didn't, but one thing we didn't see coming, because you're never going to see it coming unless you already saw this, then you saw it coming. Tomorrow evening, when we have our Raw post show, which we will be around for that. Just tune in Monday night. There's an even better show happening during Raw called the Kevin Owens Show, which is always a fun time for everybody, including Aleister Black. I hope your audio all just peaked. I hope it completely.
And he's probably going to be wearing his sunglasses, which he's been wearing onto his streams.
Because it's an I.
Eye for an eye.
I'm really excited for this. I am like beyond excited at this point. I could not be more excited. I have missed Aleister Black. I know he's only been gone for like 4 weeks. No, 3 weeks. 2? 3 weeks?
I think it's been 4. Time moves faster in WWE than we think.
Only in WWE though. We're still in May.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Aleister Black is coming back. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see what the hell his new gimmick is. I have no clue. I don't understand it. His posts on Instagram have not been the least bit helpful.
His new gimmick is being a member of the Wyatt family.
Even if that were possible, imagine that. Like their new manager, basically. He came out in like his formal wear the other day. Like, I'm sorry, I've got a hangnail now. Anyways, so back on to sad news. Sad news, if you will. News that just, God damn it just might break your damn heart. If you're me.
Take a drink.
Sonya versus Mandy. Yep. I'm a ride or die. I love Sonya. I think she's inspirational. I think she's beautiful. I think she's wonderful. I would never have voted for Mandy. On my damn life. Dark-haired bitches have to stick together. Cheers, brother.
And right now, I am 4 for 4. 4 correct predictions.
That.
Also, with this match, I saw a post on Reddit a little bit ago that provides a very interesting statistic and a little sad one. Um, so this match set a new record, and that record is Sonya Deville now has the worst pay-per-view record out of any superstar in WWE history. She is now 0 for 11, and the previous holder was Mandy Rose at 0 for 12, but now Mandy has 1 for 12. And next in line are Lacey Evans, Lana, and Sarah Logan, who are all 0 for 10. And that's not just among women, that is among every WWE superstar.
That's a deeper conversation that we could have at a different time. The question is, okay, so I've heard of I Quit matches. I've heard of, like, I've seen them. What does it really mean? I know, like, there's been I Quit matches and the guy, like, turns up, like, months later.
It's probably gonna mean that Sonya Deville takes a nice long break to get over the trauma she experienced and then return in a shocking reappearance around the same time as Kofi.
No, Kofi should be back in a couple of weeks.
Less, actually.
Yeah.
I think, like, this coming SmackDown, he might be back. Because he said, what, 2 weeks? Or 2 months?
6 weeks was how long he was going to be out.
Okay, so, yeah, we still got a little bit.
Elias is 6 months. He's never coming back.
I mean, good.
Imagine he comes back and then just gets hit by another damn car because Vince apparently just hates his ass.
Imagine, like, they really pull a big move. He comes back, but, like, the Fiend pulls off his mask, and it's Elias, and then Braun just rolls over him and, like, breaks his back, and so he's out for even longer.
Have you ever considered the fact that the reason Vince hates Elias so much, I'm sure of this, because Elias was there for Shane at his match against who the hell was it?
Kevin Owens.
Shane fighting that one SummerSlam match.
Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah, that's why I stood up for Shane.
And yeah,
and Vince said, "I wish you hadn't."
Vince loves Kevin Owens.
I mean, that doesn't shock me.
I would assume so.
I guess that Vince is capable of love actually shocks me, but
he loves horrible people. Same with Triple H.
Which Triple H is proving to be.
Yeah. I mean, he loves Stephanie.
Listen, I've come around to Stephanie. I view her as the mother that hates me. I'm pretty sure she would have been if that were the case. Anyways. So, Mandy and Sonya. To be totally fair, right off the bat, to be totally fair, Sonya looked like shit tonight. In terms of the fact that, like, she got no hits in.
Well, in all fairness, and I saw someone point this out, it wasn't... We kind of knew what to expect going into this, that it wasn't really like a wrestling match. It was like just them throwing hits at each other repeatedly. And I did like what they did with the table. How they set up the table, and it was never used. Because normally...
Oh, you like that?
Normally there's the implication of, like, okay, whoever sets up the table is going to be thrown into it. But it was nice to have a little, like, little gotcha.
There is something else I want to talk about with the table, but I'll wait till we get to the table. So Sonya starts out pushing Mandy. A lot of shoving. She sends some knees to Mandy's midsection. Mandy throws Sonya into the barricade, and this is around the time that it starts falling apart for Sonya. So, like, 5 seconds in. And she throws her into the stairs. There's a suplex to Stonia on the steel ramp.
Stonia?
My lord, did that look painful. Stonia. Promise, I'm not drunk right now.
Stonia, I hardly know ya. Good night, everybody. I'll see you all next time.
There's my Rhea Ripley image. You know, guys, it's important for me to tell you.
How's it going?
Oh, hi.
Hi, welcome to Pinfall Podcast.
I'm your host, Liz Zink, and that's some guy that came in.
Yep.
Anyways. So, Sonya then goes into the post. Mandy's really beating the shit out of her. Mandy throws Sonya into the barricade again, then dives off the announce desk with a flying clothesline to Sonya. Mandy sets up the table. Takes too long and then is met with a steel chair. Sonya. Sonya begins slamming Mandy's face into the announce desk. Mandy catches Sonya's leg. As she goes for a kick, begins punching her. Sonya's in the corner. The ring, I believe, at this time. Mandy goes for a running knee, but Sonya catches her and gets a full body submission on Mandy. Then does the triangle submission on her. Sonya's shoulders were down. Mandy broke free in time for Sonya to not be counted out. And then Sonya thanks her by sending her knees into Mandy's jaw. Running knee from Mandy finally connects to Sonya. Mandy now has Sonya and is slamming her into the announce desk. Sonya is thrown onto the table, but slowly rolls off as Mandy sets up to jump on her. Mandy then decides, I'm going to throw this chair at you instead. Throws a chair at Sonya. Sonya goes full Neo. Dodges the chair, however, quite literally almost, if not nicked, the camera guy.
Oh yeah, you saw the camera dodge.
Mandy does throw another chair. Sonya also dodges that one. Again. Impressive. There's a running knee to Sonya's face in the second one, and a third one, and it doesn't end. She finally got that first one down, and she was like, all right, we're in. Mandy nearly pile drives Sonya. Runs another knee into her. Sonya loses. This comes out. Mandy does the worm. I'm just sitting there trying to eat some dinner.
Mandy's
homophobic, I'll tell you that much.
Mandy's not good at the worm.
Yeah. No one can do it like Otis.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny. That
Look, I'm sure this wouldn't have happened had the stalker not gone after Sonya. I'm sure that was the very last second change to give Sonya some time off.
my representation is gone.
You've got Dolph.
Not actually gay.
I don't know that.
Okay, fine. He's not definitely gay. He has blonde hair. I need my dark hair babes. Why are you representing me now?
Fake Atlas.
I meant ladies in dark hair. Not straight ladies with dark hair. That's what I meant. Also Jake Atlas. If he could just figure out his walkout song, we'd be fine. I'd roll with it.
Yeah. But anyway, want to move on?
Yeah, take a drink.
Oh, you've also got a Dakota Kai. And Tegan Knox.
They have light brown hair.
Oh, Shayna
They
too.
have dark brown hair.
I'm sure Rhea.
No, Rhea's straight. Well,
Oh, is she?
is not straight, but Rhea has a boyfriend. How's that?
Hmm.
Sucks. So she has blonde hair now, so it doesn't even count.
Yeah, but we all know
Anyways, take your drink.
what. Oh, Seth versus Dominic. I picked Dominic for this.
I know I'm gonna get my comeuppance come payback. However, in the meantime, I was simply vibing tonight. Because I love that Seth Rollins constantly is like, everyone is so damn mean to me, and then he does shit like he does tonight. And I'm like, oh no, duh. You tried to attack Angie.
He really
it had
did.
nothing to do with this match.
He handcuffed Ray.
For a second there, I was like, for a straight second, I was like, you know what, Dominic? Yeah, go get him. It's fine. I've given up.
Also, can we bring up how great Dominic looked? He pulled a Pat McAfee. Except Dominic looked better. Still not good on the mic, but still. They definitely had him look like he can't do anything prior to this match because they were saving for all the nice moves and the good fighting for today, so that it looks even better.
I think they were literally waiting on fans like me to be like, oh, this asshole can only use a kendo stick, and then they were like, he uses it. I feel attacked personally.
Yeah.
Where I'm going with this.
I do think the McAfee's debut looked nicer because it was just a better booked match. And I think McAfee has more charisma than Dominic, which definitely helped his performance. But Dominic still looked great, and his gear looked good too. I don't know what the hood looked stupid, but everything else looked great.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. It's hard for me because like that's like a proven athlete, so I guess like there was a part of me that was like, okay, maybe he'd be good at this. Dominic, like, yeah, we've seen him do shit, but like we saw him do tonight. But then again, he is also Rey Mysterio's son, so there's like it's kind of half and half there for expectations. But I will admit, Dominic looked good. And I'll leave it at that. I like it to the goddamn notes.
Okay.
I do have a couple notes that say he did good, okay? Delete those words. I have to drink them, so. Anyways, Seth throws Dom to the canvas. Gets a headlock on him. Dominic gets a few hard rights in and sort of does a head scissors to Seth. Wasn't stunning. Wasn't impressive. I definitely saw the effort Seth had to put in for it.
Yeah.
So, but then Dominic gets in like 3 arm drags on Seth, and then kips up. Which also he is 23. Maybe it's easier for him to kip up than like I don't know Drew McIntyre,
Oh
who's
my god.
twice his height. I'm just saying. It is impressive that he can do it. Obviously, I cannot. I've never tried, but I'm assuming I cannot.
You also glossed over when Mandy Rose did a kip up too.
No, I was working on things. For like 3 of these matches in a row, from basically Bayley until Sasha, I was working on work also because I had a major meltdown. I was taking notes while watching wrestling, trying to eat, put my makeup on, do my work. You're lucky I have anything pulled together tonight. Instead of just us being like, Seth won.
But Mandy Rose did kip up, and I think it looked better than Dominic kipping up.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess like because it's the first time we've ever seen him do it. I mean, I guess we've never really seen Mandy do it, you and I personally, but I'm trying to be nice to him here, and you're just like, I don't know, it wasn't as good as Mandy.
You're also like, oh, he's young, so it's like maybe easier for him.
I'm saying it's probably easier for Dominic to kip up than it is for like somebody like Drew McIntyre who's 35 and has been like beaten bloody in different rings.
Now let's just see Shane McMahon do it.
I want to see Vince McMahon do it.
No, Vince McMahon can't even slide into the ring.
Gronk was scared of jumping off the balcony, and Vince did it to show him because Vince is a bold ass man.
And he got up from the pad and was like, "Oh my god, my back."
Yep. I have you seen that video?
I've seen little bits of it.
I just like how he falls to the ground. He's like, gets back up. It's like, You think Gronk's a puss.
He just sits up and he's like, I need a medic.
That's when he got backstage. He waited. He walked out like a big, strong man, and then he got backstage. He's like, fuck. Shane! Seth gets annoyed, so he just starts stomping Dominic, slams him into the canvas. Then Dominic dropkicks the shit out of Seth. And Seth said, now I rely only on kendo sticks, and just smacks him around. He stomps Dominic. Angie's backstage looking kind of stressed.
As she should.
Ray's out. Ray was there the whole time, just like, son, I'm coming in. And Dominic was like, no, father. And it just kind of went back and forth this whole time. It was just different beats. Buddy sends a seat in for Seth. And Seth kind of like looks like he's like open the chair and be like, either he was going to sit in, or he was going to ask Dominic to sit in, or he was going to ask Ray to sit in. I don't really know what was the plan there. I think the whole point was like giving Ray like a front row seat to the murder of his own goddamn son. But I didn't know where that bit was going. Seth then fails a stomp and goes face first into the chair that he set up himself. Then Dominic sends him straight into the turnbuckles. We get an awesome DDT by him, Dominic. And then Dom gets a kendo stick. He really never uses it. Dominic got up to the top turnbuckle and Seth stopped him. They're going for the superplex. You can't really tell who's got the upper hand there, and Dom pushes him down. Seth tries again and gets the superplex into a Falcon Arrow on Dominic. And then Seth has 2 kendo sticks in hand, because 2 is better than 1. Seth dos kendos. Seth then asks Buddy for a table. And Buddy puts another kendo stick in the ring. And you just see Seth go, table!
He's like, kendo?
But he's like, I thought this is what we were using tonight.
What's
a table?
He then just throws out all of the kendo sticks. Makes it rain. Every one of the digital crowd members throws in kendo sticks. Just like that scene where like all the tables are flying into the match. Or all of the chairs.
Oh my god. That was gold, because I feel like that was not intended. Anywho. So Seth sets up the table. Seth gets Dominic up on the top rope. Dominic shoves Seth crotch first into the ropes. That is the second time tonight that's happened. Both men then, in what looked like mutually assured destruction, if nothing else, both men go backwards into the table. They didn't have to, but they did. Dominic is younger, he is more virile, and he frog splashes Seth shortly thereafter. Just to pull it together, Seth then throws the chair that Dominic has brought into the ring out. And then he does what looked like the most vicious thing I think Seth could have actually done tonight, which was he powerbomb Dominic. Not in the way that like some people powerbomb people, where it's like they powerbomb them. They kind of just like let their weight finish the job.
Mm-hmm.
It was like somebody like smacking a pillow against the ground. Like he had hold on him the entire way down.
Mm-hmm.
Then he gets handcuffs out. I wasn't really sure if we were going for a Mick Foley vibe tonight. But it felt like it for a hot second. I guess the plan was to handcuff Dominic to the ropes and then kendo stick the shit out of his life. But Angie says, I'm the only one with a goddamn brain in this room. Come out. I'm gonna stop this shit. Then Ray runs up to her and he's like, you gotta let me do this. Like, you gotta let me jump in. And Angie's like, hey, maybe not. Sunset don't, but like, I don't know. Shit's kind of screwed up now. And they're arguing. Dominic covers Seth. Murphy comes in and sends a knee to Dominic's face. There's no DQ, so it doesn't matter. Ray then comes in and stops Murphy from trying to take Dominic's eye because apparently that was on Murphy's mind tonight. He was like, I'll make another sacrifice for the Savior, or the Messiah, whatever. Same shit. Seth then uses the handcuffs on Ray so that he can have the front row seat he's always wanted to his son's murder. And then Seth goes for Angie, which I didn't care for. I know I voted for this man. I didn't care for that one bit.
Seth is having a child. He should not be going after other women.
While murdering that woman's child.
Yeah. He's like, there can only be one child.
Is mine. Yeah, it's like Seth's always like Seth Rollins, the person, Colby Lopez, is always like, everyone's really mean to me, and like he'll complain. Like he used to have bigger issues like back when there was live crowds, but like he'd be caught on like Twitter saying kind of like frustrated shit. It seemed like, and then you try to attack Angie. It's digging your own goddamn grave, buddy. Then Dominic attacks Seth, rightfully so. He ends off Murphy by sending Murphy over his shoulder, then does a very lazy 619. Manages the second one that's a little better afterwards. Frog splashes Seth, gets his legs up. Sorry, read that totally wrong. He frog splashes Seth, or at least attempts to. Seth gets his legs up. That's what I meant to say. And then Seth does what Seth does best, which is stomp Dominic. Win. Thank God. Couldn't afford to lose another damn match.
Well, we'll see what happens later on.
I'm fine with that. Hurt me.
But yeah, this match was great. I can't
enjoyed
lie.
it.
It was one of the better ones, I think.
I had absolutely no hopes for this match whatsoever, actually, going into it. I was like, Dominic's gonna win. It's gonna annoy the shit out of me. I'm gonna be mad. But I personally, I liked it. I thought Dominic looked awesome. I'm glad that Dominic almost never used a kendo stick. He used it a little bit in the beginning. I forgot about that when I was talking, but he used it a little bit in the beginning. Seth got a little bloodied, but I was really expecting that to be like the only defense he had.
I just wish that when there's a street fight, it happens in the street, kind of like the backlot brawl between Adam Cole and Velveteen. But they basically had 3 of the same type of match, but just called it different things. Like you had Mandy and Sonya, the career ender match or the no disqualifications match. This match, which was street fight, and then you had the Bray and Braun fight, which is Falls Count Anywhere. They all basically were the same thing.
Yeah. It's just
Felt like Extreme Rules.
Yeah. And I think I had such low expectations for tonight's match with the two of them. I was really impressed, especially because like the fact that like Buddy really didn't play a big part either, so there wasn't the chance to be like, oh well, there was interference and that's why Seth won.
Well, out of the ring.
What I mean is, there's less room to be like. It felt like an honest match. How's that?
Okay.
I mean, ultimately, what hurt Dominic was Seth.
Mm-hmm.
What stopped Dominic from winning was Seth. It wasn't because Buddy, like, stabbed him in the back at some point. And then Seth was like, oh, pin, you know?
Yeah.
I appreciate that more. We didn't see a lot of interference leading to wins except for where we should have expected it.
trying to think. Was there one during the Sasha Asuka match?
What I meant was where we expected it.
Oh, yeah.
I expected it fully in Bayley and Sasha in either of their matches. There was more of it in Bayley's match, though. Sasha tried to interfere.
Yeah, but I think there was more interference in this match, Seth Dominic match, than the Bayley Asuka match.
It's also a longer match.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of, if you want to talk about was there interference in the Sasha Asuka match, we can find out right about now.
Another correct prediction.
Both of us. Off that high horse. I see you. Listen, tonight was not my night for a multitude of reasons. But Drew McIntyre still has his title, and that's what mattered the most to me. Also, Roman Reigns is back. I'm not going to stop talking about it.
We already mentioned that there was an ineffective distraction. Bayley tried to distract, tried to interfere, but she received a nice spinning back fist from Asuka.
I don't remember this, so...
It was... It's like...
I'm sorry, I opened the chat up and I just see from Splucha, Vince kips up, quads explode on impact.
Yeah. That's...
Oh, also...
I was going to say that's next WrestleMania.
I wish. I pray. I need one of those moments. I do also want to mention the hood Dominic wore. I want to bring that up. I see Splucha saying that in the chat. I want to bring up the hood real quick.
It's stupid.
First of all, he didn't ever utilize it.
He wore it
there was
once.
all this like... Did he?
Yeah, he got up on the turnbuckle, put it on, and then messed up a move, and it came down.
Yeah. So there was all this like chit chat about like, oh, this is like, here's some like leaked pictures of like what Dominic's or not leaked, but like here's some pictures of what Dominic's outfit's gonna look like for SummerSlam. It's so cool. Like it's kind of like an homage to like all like Lucha Libre stuff and whatever. And no offense, dude. As cool as that hood is, it's not like the hood like that was like on the back of Pat McAfee's, because I think Pat wore like a sleeveless hoodie last night, right? Wrong? I could have been wrong.
Oh, no, he wore a tank top. It's like a cut-off tank top.
And the hood on the back of Randy Orton's like sleeveless tank top that he usually takes off before fights. That was like a hood that was kind of like sticking off and it bounced a lot. There were a couple moves where Dominic like would get up to like the top rope or something and the hood would like go over his head unintentionally and he'd be like, fuck.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I was like, dude, you're gonna fucking like break your goddamn leg doing this.
If anything, Seth Rollins' gear was more in reference to luchadors than Dominic's. Shouting out the Halloween Havoc Rey Mysterio gear from the custody match. The funniest match concept to ever exist.
Who is Dominic's father? Are we ever gonna know?
After the match, apparently, Dominic basically like shouted out Eddie Guerrero and was like, "I hope you're watching. I hope you're proud."
I mean, I was joking, but like, okay. Hope one day we find out that like he actually is Eddie Guerrero's son, and we're just like,
and all those pictures of
this
him,
was all kayfabe.
all those pictures of him in Rey Mysterio's family photos is gonna be very awkward. It's like you look on Eddie Guerrero's Instagram and see Dominic is also in all those pictures.
Dominic is two people. There's Dominic and Nega Dominic.
Dominic with a K, Dominic with a C.
Honestly, that's how they've been for like the first 3 weeks that he was on Raw. They spelt his name differently like every single time. Once I think it was with a C, once it was with a K, and I think once it was with a C and a K. And I was like,
Well, the C and a K is for Dijakovic. But I wouldn't put it past them for Dominic Mysterio.
That's what I'm saying, is that they misspelled his name. With that being said, almost there, boys. We're almost there.
Next match.
Sorry. What now?
I was gonna say, I said this next match.
Oh, I thought you said 6th match. I was like, was it? I don't think so.
Actually, it is.
How many have you gotten right by now?
I've gotten, including this one, 5.
Good. I've been keeping score on my own. I know the outcome. So we had Sasha versus Asuka. Immediately, Sasha gets a basement kick to Asuka. Just dropping elbows straight into her. Asuka tries to get a head scissors, but it doesn't work. Sasha's in the corner and gets hip attacked. Sasha's then snapped forward into the canvas. Armbar. Asuka kicks Sasha in the goddamn teeth. Here's where the thing happened. These were sent to Asuka's face from Sasha. And then Sasha's out of the ring. Asuka's on the ropes, or on the apron. Sasha grabs her for a powerbomb. And Asuka's head smacks the ground in like a very jarring kind of way. I was like,
and she's like down for a bit, and even when she's back in the ring, she looks traumatized.
It like looked like she did know where the fuck she was in the slightest bit. 100% was just like, the ref kind of went out and like came up to her and was like, "You good?" And then we get like a nice drone shot. And he like lifts her arm and her arm just like hangs there, like it's like, oh no, not like this. Anyways. Sasha then goes for some airborne double knees to Asuka in the corner, but Asuka catches her and face busts her into the canvas. That's the proper use of that verb. Face busters her. Does a face buster on her. She transfers right into the ankle lock. Sasha then sets up for a superplex, but Asuka fights out. That's like the 14th time in this entire goddamn pay-per-view. There is a DDT to Sasha. I am not sure how Asuka's still alive at this point. Asuka then sends Banks into the barricade, finishes a flying drop kick and a cover. And then Asuka does the Asuka lock. And my dear God, Tom Phillips lost his shit. Tom Phillips was in like the next stratosphere with how hyped up he was on this Asuka lock.
It's like Michael Cole with the End of Days.
It is. It's exactly like that. He's like screaming Asuka lock. And then Banks moves into the Banks statement and he's screaming that too. Tom Phillips was on like a submission kick tonight. He was like, holy shit. I've never seen him like this.
People have other opinions, but I do think Tom Phillips is like the best commentator for WWE.
People not like Tom?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I take Tom Byron. Take Tom Byron and Joe over.
And then
Michael Cole, just because he's there.
And then whoever's on NXT.
Actually, Beth Phoenix trumps them all. Tom Phillips is also there, so
sometimes
most of the time he hasn't been there the last couple of days.
Tom Phillips is weird on NXT. He like talks about matches in between the matches, but he rarely is ever there during matches.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal is with that, but Beth Phoenix is my favorite lady. Actually, NXT is great because NXT has the most like female presenting the most women in like announcing roles, I guess to say.
Yeah.
Because we've got Alicia and we've got Beth, and Beth is like on the main commentary team. Alicia's the one announcing the matches. And frankly, as much as I can't stand Triple H nowadays, I enjoy that.
We don't know.
Anyways,
we don't know that he's the one doing the hiring.
Whoever's in charge of that, then fine. You did a great job. Congrats. It's probably Shawn. It's Shawn Michaels.
Heartbreak Kid.
He's the good one.
Or it's William Regal.
Never get to talk about this at TakeOver. But Pat McAfee walked in, and William Regal, the way, like, they did like a little promo of him walking in, the way William Regal looked and spoke to Pat McAfee 100% felt like he was like, why are you fucking here? Oh my god. I have never seen him just seem so just disappointed with anything that's happening in his life.
Like, I can't believe I paid so much money to have this kid here.
I loved it. I love William Regal. I shouldn't probably, I assume. Anyways.
He can't be as bad as JBL.
He tried to make it so that Velveteen could never win the NXT title.
Yeah.
Off of Adam Cole. So.
Triple H is probably worse than William Regal. Plus, William Regal is also... Is he European? I feel like he's... Does he have an accent?
He's British.
Okay. For some reason, part of my mind was like, he doesn't. But yeah, no, I think that might make him... Might make him a little better. A little better than Triple H.
If you recall his walkout song.
I don't.
Cesaro did sang it for one of the Uno games. Did you not see that?
I don't know anybody's like walkout songs, so when they do them, I'm just like, okay, I don't know whose this is.
You have to listen to it. It's beautiful. It's art. It's one of my favorite walkout songs because it's so ridiculous. It's like on the same level as like Tyler Breeze's in my eyes. But like on a completely different spectrum of masculinity. Anyways, so then Asuka is thrown off and she once again gets her Asuka lock. Taps, and holy Christ, we have another fucking champion. I was thrilled. I was head over heels.
Apparently, it's a thing that Asuka or that Sasha constantly loses her Raw Women's Champion title on her first defense at a pay-per-view. That's apparently a constant thing.
She didn't.
What are you talking about? Yeah, she lost. This was her first defense since getting it.
No, her first defense was at Extreme Rules, where Bayley put the ref shirt on.
That was when... no, because she lost it. No, she never got it at that point, because they never counted that as a win. It was still Asuka's.
I'm so sorry. She had it for so long, under a fake pretense, that I thought that she had already, wow. I've been brainwashed by the goddamn fools. I feel like an idiot. I'm resigning as host. I'll see you all never again. Farewell.
Kat is the host. Come here, Kat.
Kat. I want to try to show you without knocking every...
Cat cam.
Yeah.
Oh, disgusting.
Just a cat.
Disgusting.
She is, like always, doing absolutely fucking nothing today. Get a job.
Freeloader.
Anyways, she's a freeloader. Nobody just saw how sweaty I am. I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed. Anyways, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. My goodness gracious Christ almighty, Lord on a fucking stick. I am here. I am drinking. I am drinking because, listen, I made this bet because I do the goddamn news. It fed me all these rumors, and I was like, it's gotta be true. It's gotta be true. Eye for an eye. What does it mean? I know what it means. So I made that bet thinking, okay, this is the one bet that I'll probably get wrong. I'm fine with that. At the end of the day, it absolutely bottoms up to fucking Drew McIntyre.
I am the only real Drew McIntyre fan here because I picked him. I had faith in him. I'm not a non-believer that picks Randy Orton. Oh no. Oh no, where is she going? Where? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I've been attacked. I have been assaulted.
Do you have something to say?
You know what? Let's take this to SummerSlam.
Maybe you're a little late for that one.
Well, payback. Also, speaking of payback, tune in on Friday for payback predictions.
Can I continue? Anyways, now that I've chugged half of that cocktail, oh my dear God, my insides are burning. I held it together out of spite. Now I need to make a point that I drank about this much of this. It was for the bit. Then I realized it has lasting effect, so I apologize for the rest of this podcast.
Oh boy.
You're gonna have to take over. Ready? Or as Splucha might want to call her, Luchador. Pee on Daddy's side of the bed. So, Randall slips right on out of that ring and refuses to come back in. And then Drew goes for him, and Randy tries to run again, and Drew tries to kind of like get some hands on him, and Randy tells him to get back. And I just want everyone to know there's definitive proof that I was rooting for Drew this entire match. Okay?
Say what you will. Say what you will. No, I know you were rooting for Drew. I can't deny that.
I'm the biggest Drew McIntyre fan in this damn apartment. Possibly on this damn block.
No, because the cat is the one who does the Claymore kicks.
The cat also likes to call herself the Viper, so we can't get into the inside jokes about the cat right now. No one's gonna know what the hell we're talking about. Don't knock the sign over. So Andy's finally back in the ring, and he gets Irish whipped. Just slides right on out again. Irish whipped, and he's like, "Yeet, farewell." Randy stomps Drew. Also, I kept calling him RKO in my notes, so now I'm very confused about what happened. Except Randy failed his RKO several times, including twice in this moment. He almost takes Drew's leg out and then tries to kick Drew, but Drew catches him and is just kind of punching him. Drew then refuses to allow him to RKO consistently, just one after the other. It's kind of embarrassing for Randy. But Drew is then sent into the post, and it looked like it hurt a little bit. Falls right out of the ring. He is then sent into the barricade. He then has his head slammed into the announce desk, and the post, and then back again. And then Drew is thrown full body into the announce desk. Nice. Don't eat the cords. Randy does a belly-to-belly suplex to Drew. He's looking just dead as shit. Randy gets a headlock on Drew. Drew's starting to get up and punches Randy a lot. Throws him into the corner, and then he kind of goes after his knee. I dropped a hair tie on the ground. Now the cat's just fucking around with that.
Nice, nice.
This is her SummerSlam. So at this point now, Drew is bleeding from right about like here.
Mm-hmm.
Manages a spine buster on Randall. Sort of does a figure four, and this was like my favorite moment of the night. Because he does a figure four, and it's just like figure four, they're wiggling a little bit, like Randy's trying to get out, Drew's trying to hold on. They go down, they come back up, they scream in each other's faces. And they do it consistently.
And then Drew slaps Randy in the face.
Just reaches over and he slaps him. And then we got this replay, by the way, in slow motion. Randy then grabs the ref by the shirt, pulls him down, and then thumbs Drew McIntyre's eye. We got that slow-mo, baby. We got that high def.
We got to see that ref's reaction in slow-mo.
Drew's back up. He chops Randall in the little throat. And Drew, now, after the thumb to the eye, is just bleeding all through here. If anything falls over, I'm sorry, the cat is really going into this right now. She's having the fucking time of her life.
Yeah.
Yeah. He clotheslines Randy after Randy fails an RKO. Just does belly-to-belly suplex one after the other. It is like, it's stunning how much this man can just like throw someone over him and get back up. If I have to like bend in any sort of weird way that isn't forward, my back just says no. My back says we're done today. And then he gets up and I said, baby boy. Oh my god.
That's how we knew that Drew was winning.
That's when you know Drew's got it. He's like, I was just holding back, boys. It's fine. They are both on the top rope. They're both punching each other. Once again, the superplex doesn't happen. Drew ends up upside down on the ropes, then throws Randy to the mat by like the core strength that this had to take. He has got his legs over the top rope. The rest of him is down in the corner. He lifts himself up to grab Randall and throw him. I can't do a goddamn sit-up. My man is hanging upside down? Throwing people? It just ain't right. That boy ain't right. I love him.
You love to love him.
I'm sure that's what Hank Hill would have also said. So Drew then goes for a future shock, fails, and then manages to do it on his second attempt. My god, I love this man. Somehow Randy's Brock Lesnar wound seems to have reopened. I don't know how he started bleeding, but he did. Drew gets Randy up on his shoulders. Randy fights out of it. Drew then gets up to the top rope and tries another flying clothesline and fails. And I don't know what he's doing up on top ropes right now. I don't think he needs to be there. Running power slam. Drew from Randy, as I like to call it, the Puma tackle. Because I think a Puma tackle sounds a lot cooler than a running power slam. Doesn't sound as well fun. Drew then Glasgow kisses Randy and gets blood on his own forehead from Randy's forehead blood, which I said, we're living in a pandemic. Please don't do that. And then both the dum-dums are out of the ring over the top rope. Randy wants to do a face buster, succeeds on it. Drew looks messed up. Then Randy has to do the goddamn thing. Thing that drives me insane and also could easily hurt his stupid-ass shoulders. Randy does his weird little fucking... no matter how many times I watch this happen, no matter how many times I have to sit through this shit, every fucking time he does it, I'm just like... You're a freak. You're a weird guy, and you're a freak, and I love you, but you're weird. This little pounding the mat thing that has definitely ruined his shoulders at least once or twice. Goes for the punt. I knew this wasn't going to work. I had a feeling. I had a vibe. I was ready for this. It was for the punt, and I said, Drew McIntyre cannot be punted. Mac fucking power bombs his ass. I only swore that time because I actually wrote that in my notes. Tells him to get up. I don't know where this is going. When Drew tells you to stand up, it usually means he's going to fail his Claymore. But he does. He fails it miserably.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't even like Randy went in for something else. No, he just laid down on the ground.
Like, nope. And then, for the people such as myself that said, I can't wait for a match that's going to include a Glasgow kiss and a Claymore kick and a RKO. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Drew backslides him.
Win.
Drew backslides him and pins him for the win. I was losing my shit because I was excited, but I got scared at first, actually, because, so, at this point I was done doing work. But Drew did the backslide. Referee counted to 3. Bell rang. And you, I knew, had voted for Randy, or for Drew, sorry. We're like, what? I was like, oh my god, did Drew just lose? Did I know what I watched? I know what I saw, and I hear Drew's music, but did he just lose? I genuinely thought he did. I was gonna have a conniption. Because at the end of the day, I knew if I got this prediction right, it was going to be the saddest drink I've ever had to take in my entire life. But you know what? I'm going to drink twice on this one because I am happy. I feel good about this. I did not want to be right.
But talking about the match itself, it was kind of nice, or I guess more interesting that we got a match that ended with no signatures. Because it kind of showed that both wrestlers are like incredibly smart and know the other's signatures and did everything in their power to stop it. Like Randy could not get off an RKO, Drew could not get off a Claymore kick, Randy couldn't get off the punt either.
I 100% thought like I expected to see those things. I guess like in a way because I expected to see those things, I was like, well, if I don't see them, I'm probably gonna be disappointed. I really wasn't disappointed at all with how this match went. I was very happy with this. It was exciting. There was emotion to it, and I'm still scared about Payback because I feel like we're just going to see this again, but maybe going the way I predicted the first time around. I don't really want to see that.
I will say, I don't think this was the best match of the night, though. I don't think it was. It wasn't in regards to each individuals' performances. I don't think we nearly came to what they're capable of, especially for a Big Four pay-per-view.
I think the excitement itself made the match feel a lot better than it was, but I do think you're right. I think that there was some stuff that could have happened that we didn't quite see. We didn't really see a lot of Randy being a creep. I mean, we got to see him like do his little slamming the mat thing, but we didn't get to see him doing. He did the tongue thing, but I don't know if that's like intentional. I think that's just Randy.
We saw him being a coward.
Yeah, which again, it's psychological. That's what Tom said. I think that my excitement overpowered I think it made me biased.
Mm-hmm.
But I think also at the same time, it definitely was not necessarily the best match. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing what you say is the best, because that usually helps me pick out what I think is the best.
Uh-huh.
I've got some in my head, but I'm not so sure.
I don't even know for sure what I think the best match is, but we'll
find out when you run through it.
Yeah.
Speaking of things,
you talking about the announcement?
I want to give a special shout out to Milan because apparently he was right in the sense that he bought the shirt before everything happened. So congrats to you, bud. You had foresight 2020.
Also, I just want to say I called it when I said that because Keith Lee lost the title match, he would be moved to the main roster.
I never denied that.
I just want to give a shout out to myself.
I'm giving a shout out to people that watch us and support us, and you're giving a shout out to you.
I support us.
Oh, I appreciate that. Be weird if you didn't.
I don't believe in this at all.
I'm actively trying to sabotage this podcast. But I thought this was going to be a stupid goddamn commercial for Thunderdome again. And then the commercial said no limits, and I grabbed Mark's arm so fucking hard. I like held on, was like, holy shit. Because Keith Lee is coming to Raw! And I audio now. I've 100% done that. I apologize to you for editing this. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I don't know where they would put him at all. Like, where?
Oh, it doesn't goddamn matter. Randy! Big Show!
Big Show?
I don't know, Big Show's been around.
I mean,
dude.
He might... What if he goes after Drew, like, immediately?
He might.
Because, I mean, he went face-to-face with Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble.
I think that would have to require some good storytelling. And honestly, if we're about to see the beginning of Keith Lee's path to the WWE Championship, I'm not gonna cry about it.
What if on Monday it's just straight up Keith Lee walks in to the Thunderdome and just says, "Hey Drew, I challenge you for the title at Payback."
No, he can't. If he did that, then like I would want that to be him winning it at like WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's going to be possible. I don't know if like what their plans are with Edge or with Randy. Obviously, we're going to find out tomorrow. I am so excited. I think there's a lot of opportunity, even if like you don't see where he could fit in. I am very excited. I think there's a lot of like good stuff that he could potentially do. I just don't think we're seeing it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. And plus, I mean, he's been facing people like Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole who have still been able to take him on. So
I wonder if Dijakovic also went to the main roster. Because there were rumors that he was part of...
we're ever going to see him again.
There were rumors he was part of Retribution.
But he's not. So far, we have not seen a single person capable of being Dijakovic as far as like height and stature.
Mm-hmm.
Dijakovic's a tall dude. But I think this is like really awesome for us. Like this week's gonna be so exciting to watch WWE again because Keith Lee is coming to Raw. Tommaso Ciampa's back. And Roman Reigns is back. I'm still not over this. I'm like, oh my God, I love Roman Reigns so much.
And Alistair's back.
And Alistair's back. Like, all of my dreams are coming true again. I'm having the best day ever. I'm so excited. I feel like the one thing that we've been missing with every brand, even though like we've had a good time with Raw, we've had a pretty good time with NXT, we've had a nightmare of a time with SmackDown. Up until just recently. Recently it's been a little better.
Yeah.
A tiny bit better. We're starting to see faces come back. We're starting to see faces move up. And by faces, I mean like actual faces, not faces. Not baby faces. But we're starting to see people coming back. We're starting to see people moving up. We're starting to see the promise that we were kind of given with Thunderdome that more people would be coming back because there's more ability to distance. I think we're getting the cure to what has been ruining a lot of wrestling for us, which is stagnation.
Yeah.
I think we're finally seeing a turn in that. And I genuinely, maybe it's the gin. Could be. Might be. It might be the fact that I haven't had a good sleep in a while. This is the most serotonin I have had in at least a week.
And now that they have this kind of ability to move stars up, maybe we'll see the superstar shakedowns or shake up soon.
That does bring up a good point, actually. I'm wondering if maybe they're starting to try to bring more faces back, or more wrestlers back, so that they can have the shake up soon. Because I know that they are still planning on it. It's still in the works for 2020. Nobody in terms of like higher ups have overtly dismissed the idea. So I'm wondering if they're like, hey, can you guys make an appearance, because we literally have 4 months of 2020 where we want to do this draft like this year. So I'm wondering if they're trying to get people to make face they're trying to get people to show face again in order to be like, okay, so you remember this guy now, right? He's going here. And I think right now, honestly, maybe this is like an unpopular opinion. Probably is. Maybe this is just biased towards Raw. I think Raw would really benefit from getting Rowe.
No, I don't think so at all.
You don't think so?
Because
I feel like there's more people for him to fight there.
We're getting it full circle with Roman going after the Universal Championship with the Fiend. Goldberg coming back will make it perfect. And SmackDown needs bigger names. Raw does not need anymore. I know. During this whole pay-per-view, I was like, John Cena is gonna be the one to come back because he can't see him. And he also teased on his Instagram, saying Stone Cold SummerSlam with a question mark over his face.
That was confusing on its own, though, because, like, you mean Stone Cold? Do you mean you? Why is there a question mark on your face? I need, like, a full 20-minute YouTube video breaking that down for me.
What I assumed was that it would have meant his return to SummerSlam and that he was hypnotized after being in the Firefly Funhouse, meaning he was emotionless, hence the Stone Cold.
Darling, you are reading into this like an actual writer. You gotta remember what you're dealing with here.
Yeah, I'm not thinking of it like an accountant that's being paid to write a story.
To be fair, I assume that there are actual writers that have been employed by WWE, but they have been overworked and tired out to the point where they're just like, I don't know, just take this this story and go.
From what I've heard, the people doing the writing, the creative people aren't the ones who have a say in what happens. Like, there was someone talking about, I think someone on Twitter talking about like the whole Kofi the whole Kofi situation after he lost the WWE Championship and how he never got a title opportunity since solo. And this person tweeted saying, because I think he worked for WWE, he said, I saw it, but nobody who had any say in what happened saw it. Meaning Kofi not getting another shot. So there are people who are on that team who see stuff like this, but don't do anything. Or who don't have a say, rather.
So you're saying that they have writers, but the writers don't always get to...
It's like you have the producers, like the heads, like the Vince, the Triple H, formerly the Paul Heyman, who created the plot line. And then you have the writers who connected the dots, who made each individual night, who wrote up the promos, and then you had the wrestlers who performed it, created the portrayals, and gave an image to the words.
So basically, what I'm hearing you say is that, like, ultimately a producer comes down and is like, this is where we are. This is where we're going to be.
Yeah.
Write that.
Like,
if
for
you
example,
don't get to, you're the writer, but...
For example, with Braun and Bray, Vince would say, they're going to fight in a swamp, and the Fiend will emerge from that. And then you have Alexa Bliss becoming Sister Abigail. Braun then has a title match with Bray, or with the Fiend. And then the writers would go in and kind of connect those dots. That's what I'm assuming. That's what I've heard indirectly from the goings-on within the WWE.
I sure feel like if I were a writer there, I'd never want to watch wrestling again because I just get frustrated.
Oh yeah, no. You would... I guarantee like 90% of the writing team absolutely hates doing it because they have like no say.
Are we moving to our last match?
Yeah.
I feel like we digressed a long time there.
We did, but we haven't really digressed at all tonight.
Yeah, actually, this is one of our first digressions. You're all welcome. But also, I have probably 20 more minutes before what I've consumed in terms of alcohol tonight hits me, so I want to use these last 20 minutes to bail everything in. Because you take over best of the night, and I do nothing there.
And Liz, you need to drink. Because you picked Braun and I picked Bray, meaning that I only got one match wrong today.
Are you, like, happy with yourself or something?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I took risks tonight.
Splucha said they hire writers who don't care about wrestling. I heard a story about someone who worked there who was condemned for watching the product in their free time there. Wow.
So maybe when I apply, I shouldn't have said that I've a massive wrestling fan for an extended period of my life.
You should have said, I've never watched wrestling in my life. I don't even watch TV. I don't have a TV.
Alright guys, so I'll do a social experiment here. I will reapply because they have a running application on LinkedIn that I see every couple of weeks. I will reapply for the third time. I'll apply with a different email address though this time and a
different
fancier resume. Yeah, sure, why not? Whatever, who cares? I'll say, instead of what I've been saying, which is, I love wrestling, I'm so into wrestling, I know everything about the product, you really should hire me, I'm a great writer, I obsessively know everything about the product. And this time I'm going to say, I have no fucking clue what wrestling is.
Mm-hmm.
I just like writing.
Yeah.
And taking orders from higher-ups.
Just say, I've never heard of John Cena before.
I've never even seen him. Do 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 do. Oh, how heartbreaking! I assume you intentionally turned your video off, and it's not just our connection.
I did.
Oh, okay, good.
But you all saw what my Discord profile picture is now.
I think mine's still the dog on the Baphomet statue. If you're ever wondering what my Discord profile picture is, look up dog on Baphomet statue. It's probably the first one you'll find. I've had to look it up twice now. Anyways, now that I just chugged the rest of my drink, oh my...
Why did you do that?
Because I got this wrong, and I also got all of the predictions. I got more predictions wrong, and you have to drink for that. Two drinks left in there.
We didn't get to that beat in the podcast. We need to make a whole thing of it. I need to do like a pose as I sit gloriously.
You did your pose.
Yeah, but I need to do it again officially.
You did your pose.
I need to do it as like the announcement, like, oh, I got the most right.
Okay.
Ta-da.
So after this match, I will list off who got the most right and who got the most wrong. You have to play Robert Roode's glorious theme song while you do this. So get looking while I go through this match.
Okay.
I fucking love that song. I don't know why. I'm very addicted to it. It's a really good fucking song. Alright, so we got Bray Wyatt, aka The Fiend, versus Braun Strowman. Braun comes out kind of wearing his Wyatt family clothes. Very swampy. Braun charges the Fiend, and the Fiend just goddamn murders him.
Wait, real quick. What's the name of it? Is it Glorious Domination?
Glorious Domination.
Okay.
Don't play it yet.
I know.
Not ready. So tries to rip Braun's head off twice. It's amazing that he's never successfully ripped somebody's head off. I don't know why. You got to work on your muscles. He pulls out a toolbox because he needs his tools. Doesn't bother taking the tools out though. He just kind of hits Braun with the box multiple times, which probably is more painful than anything else. There's the announce desk, and then they have a little tussle in what I like to call the Mike Rome corner. It's technically called the the announcer's corner, but Mike Rome corner to me. Then Braun launches Bray into the announce desk. Doesn't quite land that move at all. The desk breaks. Bray goes lower back first into the hard part of the desk, the part that doesn't break, the shell, if you will.
It looked very painful. It was like the front wall of the desk stayed up, and that's where his lower back went right into it. It looked very painful.
That threw me back to one of the first matches that we watched together with Shinsuke and Cesaro versus Elias. And
the Orchestra of Destruction or whatever.
Shinsuke and Orchestra of Pain, I think. Shinsuke got thrown into a piano, but the piano didn't fucking break. You're okay, Shin. Anyways, so Braun then throws some steel steps at Bray. Bray still managed to stand. Power slams him. They're in the ring at that point, and Braun tries to cover. Bray kicks out, and Braun, not audibly, but visually, says, "What the fuck?" I said, "Braun, gonna get fined."
He didn't say he didn't like shout it. Nobody heard.
Still, boy.
He just said, "What the duck?"
Yeah, because duck and fuck look very similar.
What the funk?
It's usually what I say, actually. Especially my notes. At one point I said that Drew McIntyre looked funked up. So I think it's a more fun way to swear. I don't know. I've had a lot of gin. I'm sorry, guys. This is turning into Backlash. Just kidding. I'm not that drunk. God.
Yeah, no, that was bad. That was bad.
I was like college drunk. That was... Anyways, let's not remember, because I'm actually going to gag reading one of these notes later. So Bray gets out of the ring and is thrown into the barricade. Braun then throws him into the LCD screen at the top of the ramp. Now we go into the control area because it's a Falls Count Anywhere match. Braun gets tossed around the room. We thought that the walls sounded like they were made of cardboard, but that is because the first wall he got thrown into had a coat rack on it. When Braun went into it, the coat hanger swung and hit the side of the wall. That's why it sounded so flimsy. I wanted to make that note because I know that you said something about it. And I only noticed it on the replay, and I was like, okay. Bray, Sister Abigail's Braun, then goes for his eyes. I was like, oh. Then we get back to the top of the ramp. We come back out. It's not Edge versus Orton, so we don't have to go all the way around the entire performance center for this stupid-ass match. Mind you, I just want to say something. This match had no right being a main event match until the thing that happened after the match, okay? There was no reason for this. The only reason it was a main event match is because of what I'm about to get into. Oh. Braun is then thrown into the LCD screen. Tit for tat, you know. Braun's bleeding like shit. Bray is just absolutely abusing him. And then he shoves his fingers in Braun's mouth. And that makes me want to gag because I have a horrible gag reflex, and just seeing that makes me like, I don't like it. I'm not down with it. I'm not down with the sickness on that one. I have to get impressions done at the dentist. I gag the entire time. So to see a gloved hand going full force into somebody's mouth, I'm like, like dry heaving. Anyways. So, as this is also happening, by the way, Bray's dreads are splashing blood around Braun's head, essentially. Really hope he washes that out. Didn't like that either.
And
that was also puke-worthy.
That's why this was a main event match.
Oh, it was better than Horror Show.
Yeah.
We get a power slam to Bray. And then Braun goes over to the tools in the toolbox. The toolbox was thrown earlier, so all the tools came out. He gets a box cutter. And I was like, oh, are we doing sanctioned blading now? Fun? Instead, Braun says, no. And tears the ring up. Now we know what the ring looks like underneath. It's wood. It's like plywood. Which makes sense. And at first I was like, oh, sick. We're going to the fun house. Like, this is how we get there, I guess. I don't fucking know.
It would have been very ironic if it was like the fun house, you get to it by going through the ring. That would have been really clever.
And that's where we fell apart, Marcus.
And that's where Dexter Lumis is. That's why he emerges from inside the mat.
Dexter Lumis isn't from the fun house. He's from somewhere much, 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 much darker. Florida. Don't be silly. Shit. Well, yeah. I guess you got a point there. So I genuinely thought, I was like, oh, cool. Braun's gonna be like, here's the secret hatch. We're going to the fun house. Then we see John Cena, and that's what we weren't gonna see. That's what we weren't gonna see coming. No, instead, he does it, and then after destroying the ring, while the ref just watches, like, he looked heartbroken by that. Braun then screams at Bray, "Why won't you die?" Which I thought was a clever homage to Extreme Rules with Dolph and Drew. Bray then slams Braun into the wood, and I guess it was more so supposed to be like the hard part of the ring is exposed. It's gonna hurt more if you're slammed into it. Bray slams Braun into the wood, and Sister Abigail's him twice, and then he wins. And it was weird because watching somebody get slammed into that wood, fully well knowing that's very thin wood, not thin wood, but like probably a thin sheet of particle board or whatever, plywood rather. Knowing that that's what he was probably slammed into, I'm like, honestly, seeing somebody get slammed into the foam padding looks worse. I don't know why. It's like a thin little thing that bounces, basically. And then the Fiend wins. He wins the title. And I was like, oh. Alright. And then Roman Reigns came out. And he speared the shit out of every man in that room, specifically Bray and Braun, and that was about it. But
he even weirdly speared Michael Cole.
Imagine. I would have died. If he had speared Corey Graves, I wouldn't have come on the podcast. I would have been absolutely plastered on the floor. I would have done like 10 shots in that moment. He just steals chairs, Braun. I don't have a lot of notes for this. I know he bent the steel chair. Roman Reigns is jacked as shit now. He was jacked as shit before, but now he's even more so jacked. I didn't know someone could be that strong. Okay, so here's the thing. Roman comes out wearing a shirt that says, "Wreck everyone and leave."
Like Retribution does.
Sweetheart, no.
There are talks that Roman Reigns might be leading Retribution.
First of all, I would die. I would accept Retribution entirely, but here's the thing. Let me have my hacker moment with everyone, as well as you. He was wearing a shirt that said "Wreck Everyone and Leave." If Roman Reigns is not back on Friday in some form, my trust issues are going to go through the damn roof.
Imagine he came in, just beat up Braun and Bray, and then quit WWE.
Like, we get a headline tomorrow that's just like, Roman Reigns signs with AEW. I'm never watching wrestling again.
We
Any
know,
form of it. I'm done.
We know that's never going to happen because I think Roman Reigns is very committed to WWE. He's received many offers for AEW.
Vince McMahon's pet project at this point.
Besides Drew.
Yeah. He's Vince's SmackDown pet project. The thing is that I am a little concerned. Not concerned. I'm just like a little stressed that like that is going to come and we're not going to see any mention of him as far as like seeing him. I'm sure he will be mentioned. I'm worried that we're not going to like see him. And if we don't,
I'm sure we will.
Be like, oh. I'm hoping. I really want Roman back. I feel like, this pandemic has removed any like sense of normalcy that like I've ever known. One thing that would bring that back, one thing that would bring a sense of like what life once was prior to now back would be Roman Reigns. That's like, what the people need.
He was supposed to go for the Universal title before the pandemic. And that's definitely what he's going for now. He's going to fight Fiend for it. Maybe at Payback. Which, it's weird. No matches have been announced for Payback yet. Besides a strange tag team title defense.
That's probably just because I don't want to like lead up to that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I think that they didn't do that because I'm sure a lot of the Payback matches rely on the winners of these matches tonight.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's because they all have to be announced like after the episodes now. Like Raw's gonna announce their matches, SmackDown's gonna announce theirs right after their episode.
I feel like SmackDown's gonna be like all of, like the 2 hours of SmackDown are just gonna be like, I challenge you to Payback, and I challenge you to Payback.
Yeah.
Every match is gonna be ending in like, we're going to Payback and we're gonna fight for this.
And I really wonder who Bayley and Sasha are defending their titles again.
I would imagine the Iconics.
Oh,
we haven't had any closure to the thing is, aside from the Iconics, what other forefront female tag teams are there? Because Kyrie's gone, Alexa Bliss and Nikki have not resolved any issues, and on top of that, Alexa Bliss is still technically Sister Abigail, so we don't really know what's happening there.
Maybe. There's two options I have in mind right now. Liv and Ruby, or Natalya and Lana.
I'm gonna keep hedging my bets on Iconics. I'm gonna keep up with that.
That would just be so repetitive. I don't know.
It would be. I'm not saying that you're wrong. Also, we've had 14,000 Asuka versus either Bayley or Sasha matches. So, what is repetitiveness with WWE?
But
they love it. They thrive.
I feel like they would have announced it by now if it was just the Iconics challenging them. They wouldn't be keeping it a secret.
I don't know. I get a funny feeling that we are going to find out tomorrow night, though, because that's what would make sense, because there's not really that many. What other women tag teams are there in SmackDown that aren't Alexa Bliss and Nikki?
Those could have like I don't know, maybe like Tamina and Lacey or something.
I don't think they would lose it to like a team that isn't like definitely a tag team, though. You know, I feel like that's what we're gonna find out tomorrow, because
maybe Carmella and Dana.
Paul's been gone for a while. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know. I feel like, again, I think if it's going to go away to anybody, it's going to be an established tag team. I don't think it's going to be somebody that has just come back.
What if it's Brie Bella and Nikki Bella?
They're both like a month from having, like, they just had kids like a month ago. That is not happening.
Could be
as much as it would thrill me.
Could be an NXT tag team moved up. Could be it could be Raquel and Dakota. Or
no,
maybe
Raquel just started her feud with Rhea.
Maybe Charlotte Flair's back and is doing a tag team. It's definitely something that will be led into on Monday.
We'll find out Monday where this is probably going. I'm sure that Monday is going to be full of. I'm sure Payback's going to be Randy and Drew again. I'm sure it's going to be Apollo versus somebody from Hurt Business. Probably not MVP, but like either Shelton or Bobby. Probably Bobby.
It's going to be Fiend and somebody, probably Roman.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, if I get a Roman surprise entrance at SummerSlam and then a Roman appearance at Payback, as far as like in a match,
Roman and
I'm
Drew.
Dead. This is literally all.
But like Roman is like their pay-per-view boy. Fiend is also their pay-per-view boy. So there's no way they would keep him away. I would definitely believe Roman would beat Fiend a week from now because he was supposed to get the title originally against Goldberg. But I wonder what this means for like storyline for Roman. Is he going to be like feuding against Bray now? Is Braun going to go to the Wyatt family and Roman is going to be their opponent now?
I mean, Roman hates both of them, so that doesn't matter in that sense.
Yeah.
Not
but
sure.
Do you want to tally up our correct predictions?
I would love to. You win.
All right. Well, let's go through one by one. One by one. We'll tally them up. So, Apollo versus MVP. We both got that correct. Asuka versus Bailey. I got that correct. You got that incorrect. Angel Andrade versus Street Profits. We both got that correct.
Mm-hmm.
Mandy versus Sonya. I got that correct. Seth versus Dominic. You got that correct. Sasha versus Asuka. We both got that. Randy versus Drew. I got that. And Braun versus The Fiend. I got that. And now, without...
So, ladies and gentlemen, let me announce you properly. Ladies and gentlemen, after... this is our third pay-per-view? Fourth pay-per-view.
In your house.
Yeah. Okay, so after In Your House, Backlash, Extreme Rules, Takeover, and this, we have had one tie, 3 wins for Elizabeth for the first time. It is the first time. Trust me, I keep
this feels
track
like
of
a
these
backhanded
things.
compliment.
Oh, trust me, it's not. For the first time, our pay-per-view prediction champion is... The music? Mark Mifsud. Keep that.
If I had a belt, I would hold it up right now. Oh, nobody can hear it. Nobody can hear it. There we go.
How can nobody...
It's 2 minutes long. I don't want to go through the whole thing.
I once listened to that entire song, and by that I mean 14 times in a row because this was 2 Fridays ago.
I will,
After I took all my stuff from my last job.
I'll probably add that to my Spotify playlist. That's a good song.
Before we get into Best of the Night, we haven't seen Robert Roode in a hot minute.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot how good that song was, and I heard it during I was rewatching Elimination Chamber, and I heard it and I was like, that's good. And then I looked it up and I listened to the whole thing. I was like, because it's a walkout song, it repeats itself, but I was like, oh, this is really good. So that is on my Spotify liked songs. So I would love for you to like add that to like the party playlist. So next time we have a party, this just comes on.
Oh my god.
Just at the right time when everyone's drunk enough to not realize that this is repeating.
Okay, there we go. It's on Spotify.
It's a good ass song. Anywho, would you like to get into the Best of the Night? We do not have promos again because it's really hard to get a promo in a pay-per-view. I've given up on that. Sorry.
Alright, so there were promos tonight though. There were promos. I think you skipped over a couple of them, but they weren't really anything special.
Real quick, before we get into that, I opened up my Twitter to go to like my news page. Trending for me is a couple like actual news things. And then Sonya, Otis, Dominic, Braun, Andy, SummerSlam, Sasha. Right below that, Nazi Germany.
Nice.
That's my headspace right now. I'm just like wrestling and everything else is falling apart.
It's Vince. That's just Vince. But anyway, Best of the Night, promo of the night. So we had the interview with Zelina Andrade and Angel Garza during the pre-show. We had the Mysterio family promo right before the tag team match. We had an interview with Bayley and Sasha where Bayley starts sweeping as a metaphor for sweeping up the competition in regards to they're going to sweep Asuka's matches. And that's it. And I'm going to say Bayley and Sasha's interview because that was the more lively of all of them.
You're not considering Roman a promo?
No, that's part of the match.
Then I'm just gonna go with you on that one because there were again, so I was in the middle of a work crisis for the beginning half of this pay-per-view, and I did not mean to be, and I did not want to be.
Mm-hmm.
The person that was helping me was not available to help me until this evening. So I did not pay attention to a lot of the promos, and most of the promos happened in the beginning half. The only thing I really paid attention to was the Street Profits commercial that they did for World of Tanks, and I thought that was very funny. But I would not count that as a promo.
No, not at
So
all.
I'm just going to go with you on that.
Okay.
The fact that I got concise, cohesive notes for the first half of matches, I just want everyone to know that is very impressive because I was very stressed out doing 3 other things at the same time.
Now, fighter of the night.
All right, this is going to be a hard one.
Oh, yes, it is. So, started off with Apollo versus MVP. My pick for this fight, of course, is Apollo Crews. The man looked better than ever today. He looked absolutely amazing. He was pulling off stuff I'd never seen him do before. I normally just think Apollo's like kind of this average wrestler who has a very strong power bomb, and that's really it. But no, he looked fantastic today. Welcome, Metal Eskimo, to the podcast chat.
Welcome.
We're moving into the best of the night. We're talking about the best fighter of the night tonight. But yeah, Apollo looked amazing. Still wish he would give a little more personality, a little more uniqueness with his persona, but
Chip Skylark does enough.
he's a babyface. Besides Drew, babyfaces don't really give off that much personality. But then we move into Asuka versus Bayley. Apollo did wrestle. It was during the pre-show. There was the United States Championship match during the pre-show between Apollo and MVP. But yeah, Asuka versus Bayley. I think, yeah, Asuka was my pick. Just because Bayley never really looks amazing. She always does moves that just get the job done. Nothing really flashy, nothing impressive. Asuka looked good. I mean, this wasn't her match. I'm never convinced on Asuka ever. Yeah.
I just want to say, I've opened the chat now, so I'm catching up. This is delayed, but Splucha, if Roman beats Fiend a week from now and then Goldberg comes back, I just want you to know that every wish I've ever had has been answered.
Is
in
Goldberg?
case you see it just now.
Is Goldberg your wish?
I just want everyone back. That's all I want. If it's gonna be like, I want Roman and Goldberg. He lost that at WrestleMania. I want it.
You also
desperately want that.
You also want Rob Gronkowski to come back. Okay.
I would rather not. Thank you.
But anyway, back to the fighters. So, yeah, Asuka. I am one of like the few people on Earth that isn't convinced by Asuka. I don't think Asuka is booked well. I don't think she's a wonderful performer that has amazing charisma, but that never comes off in her matches ever. She always gets flattened in the beginning and then comes back with a fury towards the end. It's always the same. It gets tiresome. And we have yet to see her absolutely dominate anything, which is something that a champion needs. A champion needs to dominate. And we have not seen that at all from her. And then after that we had Angel and Andrade versus the Street Profits. And who else am I gonna pick besides my boy Montez Ford? He is always amazing. Always. He comes to life, especially in pay-per-view. When we watched the 2020 Superstar Showdown, he looked absolutely fantastic, and he looked just as good now. My god, he just has so much energy. Thank you, Metal Eskimo, for following.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
You don't mean to keep interrupting you. Metal Eskimo said, I still want Sting versus The Undertaker. And if we could ever get that, if there was a world where both of their bodies could work at the same time in order for us to obtain that goal, I would love that too. the mere concept.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely doubt it too, but I would love to see it happen.
But back to Montez. He always impresses. He has amazing athleticism and just equal amount of power and the charisma and the personality that really makes his matches so fun to watch. He is the most enjoyable wrestler to watch in all of Raw. You can fight me on that, but I will believe that. He is the most fun to watch. Yeah, I think today he was even better than normal. And then we move into Mandy versus Sonya. And this is hard to pick. Because this wasn't really a wrestling match. This was just two women kind of just throwing hits at each other. It wasn't anything spectacular. It was just angry. These two wrestlers were very angry. And that's fine. That is really fine because it worked really well with the story, and that's honestly what I want at the end of the day. I'd rather have sloppy wrestling that fits the story than amazing wrestling with no story at all. Which is why I'm always hesitant to pick Street Profit matches for Match of the Night, because they get booked basically the same thing every single time. It's always either versus Viking Raiders or versus Angel and Andrade. And I want the smoke too, Metal Eskimo. But there is one thing consistently great with all of Street Profits matches, and that's Montez. Even when he got poisoned that one episode, he was still fantastic. And I was arguing for him. But back to Mandy and Sonya. I think out of the two of them, I wrote down Sonya, but I might have to pick Mandy. Mandy had the most moments. Sonya was most of the time just getting hit. Mandy though was written to win. She did the best out of the two, but not enough to really be a contender for Fighter of the Night. And then we had Seth Rollins versus Dominic. Now, Seth is always great. He always is. But today, he needed to let someone else shine. He didn't impress so much, and that's fine. Because he wasn't supposed to. He was supposed to taunt, be his character, everything he does really well. But who really shined today in this match was Dominic Mysterio. He was phenomenal. He performed better than Pat McAfee, although McAfee had better character, better personality in the ring, better charisma, and that's because he's been like this TV personality for a while. Dominic did better in the fight, but he still doesn't have that charisma to really bring him into where I would like to see him. And we've been kind of shit-talking Dominic this whole podcast because, he's gotten to the main roster purely off of the back of Rey Mysterio, just being his son, and all we've seen him do is land 1-6-1-9 and use a kendo stick several times. But then today he showed us really what he could do because they've been saving all of his moves for today. What do you want to say?
I just want to say that, I still do have a problem with the way they came to the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
When you know fully well there are other people, that are wanting to come to the main roster and haven't been able to based on,
Adam Cole.
Yeah. Adam Cole said that he's still happy to stay in NXT for a while longer, and I don't blame him because I don't think that he could I don't think that they would bring up all of Undisputed Era at one time. But that being said, I do still have a problem with the way that Dominic was immediately introduced.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte Flair is the literal daughter of Ric Flair and still came up through NXT at least.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it was an accelerated path, she still came up through NXT. She didn't immediately just show up on Raw one night and be like, hey, I'm Charlotte Flair. I'm Ric Flair's daughter. Hi, how are you? And I respect that. I respect working for things. And I'm not saying that Dominic hasn't. I'm just saying, as awesome as this fight was tonight, I still do have to kind of sit back and be like, there are other people who also want that chance. And, you got up there because you're Ray's son. And maybe if we saw some, proof that he was really good like he was tonight, earlier on, I wouldn't feel this way. But, it bothers me still.
But that doesn't undermine his performance today. I think regardless whether he was Rey Mysterio's son or whether he was just some schmuck coming up from NXT, he still performed amazingly.
Also, in addition to what you're saying, Metal Eskimo, I have heard the same thing. Some people do enjoy staying in NXT,
like Finn.
Finn said he likes that it's less of this was more prevalent when like they were traveling, but it's less of a travel commitment. It's less of a just like it's a less tiring schedule, I guess. And also NXT does have a very different vibe from Raw and SmackDown. It's much more it's more like ICW, if anything, which like feels a lot more real and rough. And I think that appeals to a lot of people, and I don't blame people for wanting to stay down there. I just feel like there are people who probably are still like working up the ropes that aren't Rey Mysterio's son. Yeah. But I can't imagine as a homebody myself the idea of just being like, I live in Florida now, I work in Florida, I wrestle in Florida, that's it. I can't imagine that that's probably appealing. And I'm sure like that's what Adam Cole was saying, that he like has no rush to leave. He's like, I would be happy to go up, not dying to.
Yeah. But back to the fight. Do you think Dominic was awesome? He had some Dominic Dijakovic moments, telling Rey not to step into the ring, that this is his fight. And he did a good job. He did do a really good job at the end of the day, especially that was his debut. And WWE as a whole has been killing it with the debuts recently. But yeah, he was fantastic. He just needs a little bit of charisma to take him to greatness. And then after that, we had Sasha versus Asuka. And I think Asuka performed the best. I don't know. Again, I am not sold on Asuka. I don't think she wrestles extremely well. She has moments where like she suddenly snorts a lot of cocaine and she's like high for like 5 seconds, but then she crashes. She, especially after she was slammed into the ramp and she was kind of like dazed for the rest of the fight. She kind of wasn't performing as well as she should have. I don't know. It's hard for me to argue for Asuka. I used to be a huge fan of Asuka. What's that?
Can I bargain one thought for you here?
Please do.
I think the thing that set Asuka apart from Sasha tonight was her ability to counter moves that came to her even after being attacked, even after having parts like her leg, especially because it's normally when people are attacking Sasha. Go again. When people are attacking Asuka, it's usually her legs because her legs give her a lot of power. Her legs are part of most of her moves. She was able to counter those attacks really well tonight, and she was able to like even like things as small as like how sometimes she'll kind of get like tripped up because Bayley's like calling her over to one place, being an asshole off the ring while Sasha's fighting her, and she'll get strung up in the ropes when she tries to like hip attack Bayley, and Bayley jumps down off the apron. And this was something you noted. Tonight was one night that she didn't even do that. Like she went after her, but she didn't manage to like get herself caught.
Yeah.
I think that her offenses were great. She did look a little weak, but also was her second match, so I think that this was supposed to make her look a little weak. But her defense was great tonight, and I think that was really important for her. That was after the first match, all she really had left.
Okay.
That's my 2 cents.
I see what you mean. I think that's one of the reasons why I liked her so much. And another reason I liked her so much was because she would get beaten up so much, but then really come alive at the end. But at this point, it's been done so much that I'm kind of tired of it. I'm tired of her just getting absolutely demolished in the beginning. Because it happened with Charlotte Flair, happened with Nia Jax, happened with every time against Bayley and Sasha. and then she comes back and wins. It just gets tiring seeing the same thing over, and that's not Asuka's fault. It really isn't. She sells everything extremely well. She is one of the best women's wrestlers. And she does do a very good job. But I don't think she's the best of tonight. And I think her just wrestling in 2 matches isn't enough to really bring her into the best of the night. But let me continue on to the next match, which was Randy versus Drew. And this one's also hard because we had 2 wrestlers who were being very calculated today, not necessarily being as aggressive and dominant as they normally are, but rather trying everything in their power to counter each other. And I think that really came into play most with Drew. I think his cleverness, his intelligence really shined in this match, where he countered everything Randy threw at him, every RKO he tried to do, the punt he tried to do. Drew still managed to get off a Glasgow Kiss, which is the only signature move that got landed. Drew always surprises, or not surprises, but always performs, always delivers. And he did so again today, but in a different way than he normally does. And I think that's what's great about a wrestler, is when they can perform amazingly, but not in the same way they have been. If they can mix it up, if they can give us different styles and techniques and workarounds. Drew, I think, is someone after today that can really adapt to a situation, and not the same kind of adapt with Finn and AJ, where they kind of just adapt to style. You saw the gears turning in Drew's head, where he tried to read Randy, because this was their first match together. You saw him analyze, and that in and of itself is perfect in a wrestler, when you see the gears turning, when you see them reacting. I think Drew was amazing today, and not in the flashiest way possible, but in the subtlest way possible. And that is my favorite way, and that somebody's amazing, when it's just the small details that make them stand out. And then lastly, we move into Braun versus The Fiend. And this one's, again, it's tough, but not in the same way Drew and Randy was tough. I don't think either of these wrestlers were really performing their best. I think The Fiend was the best here. I love watching his sister Abigail. Makes me miss, or it makes me wish we had gotten to see Sister Abigail tonight. But, well, it is what it is. The Fiend was fun to watch. And the use of the toolbox was interesting. But the fact that he managed to get slammed into the table, have it not break, have a very painful landing, and still manage to get right back up and continue on the fight as if nothing even happened, is amazing in and of itself. It was a bit short, but that was to save room for Roman coming in at the end, which was the real reason this was a main event. But yeah, Fiend was the best wrestler of this fight. Now, the best wrestler of the night is, and I have no tough decision here, it is 100% Drew McIntyre.
You know, I can't disagree with you on this. No, I can't. He gives his all. He is a capable fighter. He's smart. He knows what he's doing when he's in the ring. He knows how to adapt his performance to the other people that he's with. And I think that really helps him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing to see somebody give their all and come forward on a promise that they've given going into such a prolonged storyline. And mind you, it's not just a prolonged storyline between the two of them. It's a prolonged storyline that came from two separate directions and then diverged.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this fight. This was one fight that really got me amped up. So I absolutely agree with you on this.
There was something I was going to say, but I completely forgot. Oh, if this was the same Drew that fought Dolph Ziggler, then my opinion would definitely be changed, because that was kind of the same Drew we had been seeing, where he's very aggressive and more of the Scottish psychopath. This was a very calculated Drew that knew that Randy was going to be up to his tricks, that Randy's going to try and be sneaky, and Drew can't be as aggressive and as distracted as he normally is. So it's very nice to see that evolution in character. And it also helps that Drew McIntyre, or what's his real name? Drew Galloway?
Galloway.
Is an incredible performer and actor. He always performs really well in his promos, in his fights. Everything, he kills it constantly. And I guess that's why he's the champion. But now, do you want to move into the fight of the night?
Yes, I do.
Alright, so this one is a little more difficult for me than Fighter. But I'll run it one by one and give my thoughts. So we start off with Apollo Crews versus MVP. Really great fight to start off with. I think MVP could have shown a little more. But really great fight to hopefully cap off this storyline. Because there was no interference, there were no interruptions, no retribution. Everything was very much wrestler on wrestler. It was a great capstone to the story, and I wish it wasn't just thrown into the kickoff. I wish they'd done something like maybe Matt Riddle versus King Corbin as the kickoff and threw this into the main event. Not the main event, but like the event itself. But yeah, I wish we had seen a little more from MVP, especially considering he's kind of a veteran. And he's been in the game longer than Apollo, but the fight itself was a great one. And then Asuka versus Bayley. It was a good fight. Definitely exactly what I expected. This and the Sasha Banks match were exactly as I expected. So it didn't really offer that much in terms of story for Sasha and Bayley. It just puts Asuka back into the champion status. I wish we'd gotten a little more, but you know, it in and of itself, it was good. Bayley was her better self, and Asuka was alright. So definitely not the worst, but also not the best. And then Angel Andrade versus Street Profits. This match was fantastic. I loved everything about it. It had great beats. You had the moment where Zelina was hit and Andrade was tending to her and couldn't participate in the match, which I think is going to cause a split between Angel and Andrade. Angel might not like the situation now, might not like Andrade not helping, might give up Zelina as the one who poisoned Montez. So it does add a lot of story elements. This has nothing to do with this fight. I just wish Street Profits would get more matchups than just against Viking Raiders and Angel and Andrade. But hopefully after this we'll see more. Yeah, everyone was performing at their best today. Angel, Andrade, Montez, Dawkins, everyone was amazing. it was a really fun match to watch, and it was one that we were kind of saying should have gone in the pre-show, which I think would have done a little bit disservice to it, but also wouldn't. It would have had the same effect as the current one in the pre-show, being in the pre-show. And then we had Mandy versus Sonya. A very fitting match. Everyone was aggressive as they should have been. The whole match just being Sonya and Mandy being angry and just going full out on each other was exactly what I wanted to see. I liked the kind of mix-up of the table. Normally we have, if a table's thrown in, it's guaranteed you're going to have it. It's going to come in at some point. Normally whoever set it up is going to be thrown into it. But no, it was set up. Mandy tried to do something on it. Sonya rolled away before she could, and it was never touched again. It was kind of a nice juke. And yeah, it was a decent end. Again, not the best, but far, far, far from the worst. And then after that, we had Seth versus Dominic, a match that has no right being as good as it was, because of how we've seen Dominic lately, but he performed amazingly. Seth gave off his amazing character that he always does, and we had great involvement from Murphy, especially when he put up the kendo sticks instead of the table. Great involvement from Ray, great interactions between Ray and Dominic, and then Angie being the very caring mother standing at the top of the ramp, who almost became a helpless victim of Seth Rollins. This match had everything from story elements to great fighting. It really just hit all the marks. And I think did a debut match better than the McAfee-Adam Cole match. And then we move into, after that, Sasha versus Asuka. I didn't love this match. Mainly because it didn't really give us anything we hadn't seen before. It gave us Asuka not getting tangled up in the hip check on the ropes. But that's very little development considering what we've seen so far. It felt like all this time we've been put through the storyline so far, but haven't really gotten the catharsis we've been building up to. And hopefully we'll get that at Payback or something. But as far as this match goes, I don't think it gave us the story we've kind of been asking for. But as far as individual performances go, Sasha was great, Asuka was great. It was a good match in general. I just think we could have gotten a little more, especially for one of the big four pay-per-views. And then we move into Randy versus Drew. A not flashy match at all, but it had two wrestlers who are normally very aggressive and very powerful butting heads, and instead being very calculating. Randy was just as calculating as Drew, and it was kind of everything we've been leading up to, although I think what we are meant to get is going to be at Payback. But it was a very great match. Watching the backslide kind of left me with the reaction of that's it. But thinking back on it, it's pretty fitting. But it definitely could have had more. And then lastly, we had Braun versus The Fiend. Decent match. You had good use of like the tools, the canvas, backstage, table. Everything kind of had use. It had its justification for being a false count anywhere match, kind of. They went backstage once, and that was it. But if it's going to be a Falls Count Anywhere match, I feel like they should pinfall outside of the ring. You know? I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And I think what really made this match wasn't even the match itself. It was Roman Reigns coming in at the end. The match itself was alright. I wish we'd gotten more after this build-up of the storyline between Bray and Braun. But we're left with Roman Reigns, who maybe might unite Braun and Bray at the end of the day. Have them kind of together to go against Roman, I guess. I don't know. I am clueless as far as where the storyline's going now. But with all that said, you might disagree with me, but my match of the night, I'm gonna give it to Seth Rollins versus Dominic Mysterio.
I do agree with you.
Oh, perfect.
Dude, I really like this match. I was blown away by it. I thought it was really exciting. I thought it was 100% something I did not expect at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really happy with how it came out. I expected so little from this match, honestly. Like, genuinely, I expected, like, rock bottom. I really thought Seth was going to be beaten by Dominic with some kendo sticks. Instead, not only did I get Seth winning, which I kind of just wanted for posterity's sake.
Oh. We lost you. Hold on, folks.
Am I back?
Yeah, not your camera.
Okay, hang on. Turn on camera.
There we go. All right, you're back.
Jesus. Anyways, I was gonna say, not just because I like voted for him, but because I don't know.
It fits the story better because I feel like we need Ray being the one to take out Seth, or Ray and Dominic together. Maybe we'll get that at Payback. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that we are going to see a Seth Rollins versus Dominic fight where Dominic wins very, 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 very soon.
Yeah.
But I was really happy with how tonight went. I really liked that match. I was shocked by how good Dominic was. I did not see it coming. But yeah, I 100% go with that for my match of the night. It was fun. It had story. As I've said many times before, there's never been a Seth Rollins match where I was like, I wish this had ended sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm happy with that.
And I think what this match has over all the others is the prominence of story over anything. With the added amazing fighting along with it, no other fight today had the story standing out overall. And I think that's one thing with the Seth Rollins storyline that is consistent, is they always give emphasis on the story rather than the fighting. That the fighting always comes second to the story, and I think that's the most important thing they need to focus on with any kind of wrestling match, is what's the story between the two fighters, and how can we incorporate this in the match other than just giving motivation beforehand. There's always story elements in the fights themselves with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I love this. I really did. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I do, again, believe that Seth Rollins is going to lose to Dominic very soon. But I think that we are back in the right place where we need to be with this storyline.
Yeah.
I think that was really important for Raw.
So to run it back, our promo of the night is the Bayley and Sasha interview. Our fighter is Drew McIntyre. And our fight of the night is Seth Rollins versus Dominic Mysterio. We really love these debut matches.
Whatever.
Last night it was Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee. Now it's Seth and Dominic.
keep getting blown away.
Yeah.
So let me wrap this up quickly because it is 20 in the morning. I have to be on a call in 7 hours. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We love seeing everyone in the chat. It's always very fun for us. And it makes us feel like we're doing this for someone and not just for ourselves, so we can hear ourselves talk. Please join us tomorrow night. We will be back for our Monday Night Raw post show with Keith Lee and Aleister Black. They won't be with us, but it will be on Raw. They will be
joining us here on the podcast.
I wish. My burns are healing quite nicely. Just want everyone to know that. But please join us Monday. We will have our Monday Night Raw post show. That'll be tomorrow, probably around like 11:15. Then we'll be here for the whole damn week. Monday Night Raw, Wednesday night NXT, Friday Night SmackDown, and then we'll be back again for another pay-per-view. Friday night will be our one. It will be our prediction show for Payback. And 2, Friday night SmackDown is going to also be our shout-out show because it is the last show of the month, our last normal show of the month. And we just want to kind of pay it back to everybody that has been supporting us while we do this podcast. So please, if you have anybody you want to shout out, send it to my DM, send it to Mark's DM, send it to the podcast's DM, mostly, which Mark will run you through right now because he knows all the social media.
Mostly send it to the podcast Twitter DMs.
It's the one we check mostly.
It's the easiest one for us to collect. But with that said, the Twitter for the podcast is at the Pinfall Cast. We announce whenever we go live, which you can also get by following the stream, hitting the little follow button below, and clicking the little bell so you'll be notified whenever we go live. Twitter is at the Pinfall Cast. Remove the pod, and that's the Twitter. Our individual Twitters are I'm at the Mark Cameron, Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. And I have a personal Twitch as well, twitch.tv/Mark Cameron. We are all working, Liz and I together, along with some other people, are working on an amalgamation of Pokemon and wrestling to make something that has never been done before. We are in the midst of the World Championship Tournament, which we are a day in right now, and we're doing every Saturday, so check it out next weekend. I have already battled once, and I'm moving on to the next round. So tune in then, twitch.tv/Mark Cameron. We also make short films together. Look up Verismo Productions on YouTube. And if you missed part of this podcast or want to catch up on past podcasts, you can check out the Pinfall Podcast on YouTube. The profile picture is just a couple people wrestling. We definitely need to change that very soon.
We literally made a profile picture for this. How do we not? Okay, never mind. Not gonna get into that now. Why has it not changed?
But yeah, the Pinfall Podcast on YouTube, and that's it. Thank you everybody for watching, and we hope to see you tomorrow for Monday Night Raw. It has been an exhausting 3 days. Let's make it an exhausting 4th. Bye everybody.